Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a high-level best of 3 between two top Korean players. Perhaps the greatest Korean at the moment when it comes to the Protoss race. We have Classic here in the top left, playing for the Twisted Minds esports team. And in the bottom right of Heartlat, playing for Team Liquid, it is Kier, the most recent acquisition. The most recent acquisition before Kier joined. I think was probably Kalazur, I want to say. It was either Kalazur or me and Clem, but I think Kalazur came after Clem and I joined Liquid. Of course, I left after, I think, a solid 2 years with Team Liquid. Clem's still there, recently won a tournament. Love to see it. Quick scout coming out of Cure here as well. Cure also recently joining, performing quite well, by the way. He's a solid player. Really a solid player. I love watching him. I think there was a point in time where people looked at Cure and they thought to themselves, you know what's pretty crazy? Is that this guy, he just doesn't lose in TVP. Like, he had the best Terran versus Protoss rating out of everyone. And it wasn't with tricks. He just looked freaking solid. He was playing this SCV Scout Reaper every single game. A little bit of a mind drop and just having a good time all around. I feel like he doesn't have that status anymore though. In a way, I feel like Clem kind of took it from him. I could be wrong about that, of course. As the Shade is going to hit the Reaper here. Gonna see another Shade forward. Twilight counts on the long run. This is something that a lot of the Koreans have been doing, or at least Classic has been doing it. I've just been watching a lot of Classic games because I think he's really good in Protoss versus Terran, and I kind of like it. So there's a lot of maps in the current map pool where you can block off the Reaper spot, but you have to use the pylon in the wall. Now that means that whenever the Reaper pops up, they get a free scout on whatever tech you have, which is actually fairly easy for the Terran player to do. But with the positioning of this building, the Terran actually kind of needs to commit the Reaper a little bit into this area to get the tech scout off. So, although it did get scouted this time, I prefer the way that Classic is doing it over the way that, well, I do it, or actually every single other Protoss player does it. I think it's a really cool little, a little cool trick here that he's using. It's not really a gimmick. It's just a neat little thing that he does, and I think it works out majority of the time. See a fast robotics facility before second and third gateway. That is kind of odd. He also leaves 2 holes here in the wall. I don't think that was on purpose. I think he misplaced the building there. It's a little bit embarrassing, but life can be a little bit embarrassing, and that's completely okay. No extra chrono boost here on the blink either. Let's see what we're waiting for. Stalker just moving in forward. Having a blast all around. Prism starts. So it's going to be some 3-gate pressure, but because the second and the third gateway are so late, they're just starting to get added in here with the second warp in. I don't actually think he's going to have that many units, is he? He's going to have warp in cycles of 3 from here on out. 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3. Eventually he's going to go up to 11, I guess. It's going to take him 2 more cycles. At least 2 more cycles. Might lose a Stalker. No, against a Mind Drop. I love the way that Cure is playing this. Leaving the Mind Drop here in the dead space. No real reason for him to go in, because he sees that there's units here. He's just waiting for the move out. He says, hey, I have a Reaper and a Heli, and I can see when you're moving across the map. And the moment you're committing to a play across the map, that's what I'm gonna, that's what I'm gonna jump in. That's when I'm gonna have a good time. The first tank is out and in position. There's only a single bunker on the low ground, while a player like Clem, for example, always builds double bunkers on the low ground so he can put all of his tanks in the main base. This is his response, but Cure plays it a little bit different. That does mean that the weak spot here, the vulnerability in his base layout, is going to be in the natural. As the Reaper moves in towards the net on the other side of the map, the double Mind Drop still, well, hoping to move out at some point. Here comes the Crimson Chin, or I guess the SCV pool towards the bunker, is going to stay alive. As the second tank is going to move downstairs. Nexus on the way, RoboBay on the way as well. 2 SCVs have gone down. I don't think that is quite enough here to warrant the investment that that Classic made into this push. The late third base cuts here on the worker count. It's gonna need to deal some serious damage. Tank not in the correct position, is not quite covering the mineral line at the same time, which is usually the thing you do want to achieve with those tanks. As here comes the follow-up, Stalker harassment, and Cure is not really in the right position to deal with this whatsoever. Gets a triple adept warp in as well, Classic that is. He's going to get a couple more worker kills here at the same time. Blinks on forward on top of this tank. Takes out the tank. That's a pretty big deal because that's going to really open up the natural in a way that it wasn't before. Classic realized that this bunker isn't being repaired. We'll take out all of these Marines. Stalkers stay alive as well. There is a tank now sieged up. There's a lot of these low SCVs though. And look at this. Drop on top of the tank. Beautiful play. At the same time, Stalkers in the natural as well. And we see that Cure is kind of falling apart here despite his initial very solid hold, his good setup. The moment Classic started, you know, with some tricks, moving the just really not even a trick, just kind of the standard execution here of the build. If things don't go well, you send 4 Stalkers in the main or into the natural, and Cure just wasn't ready for it. 2 more Stalkers still in this prism. We're gonna try to get 1 or 2 more kills. As this mine drop has achieved nothing except just forcing Stalkers to stay at home, usually that might be enough. But if you end up losing 12 workers, I'm not so sure if that is enough. 12 workers is quite a bit. Now we have our first Colossus out, second Colossus on the way. There is 1 Raven. I don't think we have an interference matrix though. No, that upgrade did not get researched. Don't forget that needs to be researched these days. Didn't always used to be the case, but nowadays it most definitely is. As double medevacs here are boosting out. They'll start making their way onto the map. It's gonna be what? 5 Marauders and about 6 Marines moving towards the far right. There's no vision on that side whatsoever. There's really poor vision altogether. No vision on the left, no vision near this ramp. Really, we only have minor vision on the middle of the map. I like this ops positioning. Battery can kind of hold both sides. As here comes Cure. It's going to go for probes rather than trying to take out a pylon. We'll get 4, maybe 5 workers. Snipes 1 Stalker. No, doesn't quite get it. Stalker stays alive with legitimately a single HP. And Classic right now, yeah, he's actually just gonna send it. He says, hey, I believe you don't have enough units out on the map that you can keep me back at home. Stalkers that were across the map now joining in on the hunt, the chase of this medevac, are going to catch this medevac, and that's pretty freaking wild. I am not a fan here of how this is looking for Cure. Cure 122 supply, does have upgrades. Needs to play it slow, needs to play it secure. Does he have the patience for that? That's the question. This is a big push out. Oh, that's a very unfortunate scan. Classic doesn't quite see that scan. Now he sees it. Depots need to be lifted. Tanks are on siege. Will siege instantly. Depots not quite here yet. As 1 Colossus, 2 Colossi shooting the depots. That is not really what you want with Colossus. That actually has a bit of an impact. Because there's a lot of Marines that could have just been swiped down. Prism under some heavy fire. Stalkers blink on forward. Don't even get the Viking. But this CC has not been sent back. I actually believe that Classic could just take out that command center without any serious issues. Don't really want to attack into a choke like this, do you? GG's just gonna get caught. Cure doesn't believe in it. Didn't even try to fight, though. A little bit disappointing as Classic takes map number 1. In our second game, we have a barracks being proxied. In the incorrect location. Well, it's the correct location. It's just being built in the incorrect location if you're a barracks purist. If you want your barracks to always be in the main base, this is wrong. You don't care, you know, you're a free soul, a free thinker. You can do what you want. This is a really powerful thing, by the way. This is crazy strong. This is... I don't know if this is actually straight up game over. Because this is still a core before Nexus. But like, this is crazy powerful. Really crazy powerful. So Classic's gonna spot it probably here. Yeah, he's just making that... you know, he's just checking around. But... a Reaper's popping out in 3 seconds. You're gonna send a second probe down. The moment that probe arrives, the Reaper pops out. I mean, if you lose the SCV, you're an idiot. You shouldn't lose the SCV here. Stalker still a very long way from finishing. Second pylon is in the main base as well, so there's not even the possibility for a battery. I feel like that actually building Marines at this point is the correct call and trying to get a kill on that Nexus. As long as that Nexus is in range. Yeah, okay, wow. I wasn't sure there for a second if that Nexus actually was in range. 3 workers have gone down. SCV can die, though. This would be so sloppy here by Cure if he loses that. He doesn't. That was too close, in my opinion. Really not necessary to take a free hit there either. That means that Classic just needs to get one more hit in. So we have 1 extra Marine here on the way. There will be a Cyclone that gets to rally across the map. And Classic keen on taking out the next Marine that gets rallied. Reaper makes its way into the main base. Cure. Good read there in my mind. No, this is bad. What did he do? Oh my god, never mind. Okay, I thought this was good, but I guess his Reaper was too low HP. Honestly, Classic is dealing with this so freaking well. It's insane to me. Or perhaps Cure is just executing this very poorly. Because I almost believe this should be a free win. But that Reaper control wasn't it. The fact that he got an extra hit there on the SCV also sucks. I don't even think he should have gotten any hits on the SCV versus the Probe because you have so much time. There's no real need for it. This barracks is now gonna die. He let it die. He let it go to waste here as this bunker under some serious pressure. Here comes the Cyclone. I wonder what I was gonna go for. For now, he's just going to be taking out 1 Probe. He's dealing a lot of damage against this Nexus. Cyclone in trouble. Cyclone is freaking dead if he ain't careful. More probes here being pulled towards this bunker. As this Nexus needs to be saved, and I think it is going to be saved, but at what cost is the real question here, of course. Next Cyclone is on the way as well. Has made its way across the map. It's going to take out this Stalker. As the Marines are trying to get a kill on that Stalker. Do get a Stalker. As 9 workers and 3 Stalkers have gone down. We have lost the barracks though. No salvage on the bunker either. But let's just take a look at the overall economic situation here. We have a 1-1-1 setup. So the infrastructure isn't necessarily great for Cure. But the infrastructure is god-awful for Classic here as well. Oh, this actually is kind of a big move here. Oh no, it's gonna find it. It's gonna find it before the warping finishes. That means -1 Stalker at least, I think. This is a huge move. He's gonna lose no Cyclones and kill 2 Stalkers. Tank starts as well. This was such a lucky scout, by the way. If that scout doesn't happen, he's actually kind of dead. Imagine the pylon was over here and freaking 6 Stalkers. Well, 5 Stalkers would, run up the ramp right now, and then the next 3 would make it 8. There's nothing to deal with 8 Stalkers, especially if the Cyclones would be halfway across the map. Man, that's actually really crazy to me. Wow. That actually is really crazy to me. The amount of damage here that could have been dealt. Classic. He's so good at dealing with these weird situations. Now, there is an issue as the Cloak is halfway done. The first Banshee is on the way out. Tank is done. Cyclone's gonna make their way across the map as well. So there's going to be a lot of counter damage possibilities here. He cancelled Cloak. He cancelled Cloak? Oh my god. That would have been a free win. It would have actually been a free win. He would have legitimately cleared like 10, 12, 13 workers with just a Banshee, forcing 2 entire minerals off the line as well. Now these Cyclones need to deal some serious damage. They're going to be capable of doing that, of course. Cyclones are freaking powerful. We see them take out 5, 6, probably up to 8, 9 workers here. Kind of go and try and lock onto a Stalker. I think that's actually wrong. He's going to keep this Cyclone medevac alive. Would have probably preferred to see it move towards the left side. Maybe you can use these Cyclones later on in your first push. That won't be the case now, though. Robotic facility on the way. Where's that freaking Banshee? Oh, it's kind of going towards a base where there already are 2 Stalkers defending. I guess the plan here is to kind of trick these Stalkers a bit towards the left and then boost on in with your medevac. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's exactly going to be the plan. Just gonna get these 2 Stalkers. Medevac dies as well. Gonna get a couple more workers here. It's not the worst way to use it. Also not the greatest thing, honestly. 3 Stalkers die. 1 worker falls. I mean, it's fine. Losing the medevac is kind of expensive, though. I would have preferred seeing him just, drop these Cyclones and then try and keep the medevac alive, maybe. Banshee's still there, so that's gonna force some units into that position. There's a cannon on the way now. I guess that Classic was afraid of Cloak, so I understand it. But at the same time, Observer would have been out the same time as the Cannon, pretty much. Yeah, Cannon in this base as well. 41 workers to 40. Despite, honestly, the mediocre execution here of that harassment by Cure, he's in such a good spot. I can't believe how important flying over that pylon was. I actually can't believe it. That was crazy. It was a crazy coincidence. I don't think that's a very common flight path, is it? From here to here? I think you'd say maybe like this or towards the right side. I think it's much more common. Raven now moving in. It's gonna need to target fire well with these auto turrets, and does that indeed. Takes out the first probe for free, now starts fighting this cannon. Don't think the cannon actually goes down. No, it won't. It's gonna stay alive at 37 HP. Perhaps getting that first probe wasn't quite worth it after all, otherwise you would have gotten the cannon. 8 marine drop. I do believe these guys have stim. There's no blink yet. I mean, if he unloads here and he gets 3-4 worker kills, that should be enough. Okay, he's gonna unload outside of the third base. It's an interesting scan. It's a really bad scan as well. I guess he knows exactly where he can move his marines. Yeah, okay, this is huge. Never mind, it was a great scan. This guy's a genius. I'm not sure why I doubt this guy at times. I really don't. Recall gets used as this medevac is just going back into dead space. There's no blink. There is charge, which is nice. Charge is great. But this is a powerful army. I think Cure should just start moving across the map and win the game at some point, right? He has his +1 done. He's going to get concussive shells, more marauders on the way. We're going to see a lowering of the depots and unsieging of the tanks. Is he even going to unsiege the tanks? That's my question here. Or is he just going to keep them defensively? He believes that he can kill his opponent with mine marauder marine. I think that's a fair thing to say as well. I think it might just be true. +1 in blink is on the way. This pylon's gonna get knocked down. It gets knocked down, but it'll get up again. Tanks defensively. This is a nice wall as well that has been great. Freaking, I think tower defense over here is like amazing with the towers. It's gonna get a bunch of kills, that's for sure. I mean, this is dealing a lot of damage. 12 worker kills? That's serious damage, actually. All of a sudden, if Classic just holds, he might be in an okay position. Classic! Yeah, this is not a good position for him. Like, everything went wrong. From the very early game to the mid-game to now where we are here. But he finds a way to get himself into a position where it's like, well, if he can hold this, which I don't think he can, he wins. He wins. If he holds this, he probably wins. Except there's just so many Marines. There's no splash. There's a lot of Marauders as well, and still no splash. There's medevacs and no splash. GG gets called. Cure wins map number 2 here on Oceanborn and ties up the series. Here we are in the final game of our series. Yes, yeah. Cure with a classic Cure build here. The 2-Rex proxy. I believe this is going to be with a gas as well, if I'm not mistaken. And this is going to be 2-Rex Marauders, one of his favorite builds of all time. Actually, he's not getting a second gas. Or he's not getting a first gas. So there's going to be a 2-Rex. It's going to get scouted here by Classic, though. That's going to throw a wrench into this play. GG gets called. Oh, no. Oh, what a terrible way to end this series. It's a very short game. 1 minute and, what was it, 3 seconds? 1 minute and 2 seconds. Let's see. How long was it actually? When did Cure leave exactly? It's a very short game. Holy cow. It's going to be like 54. 55 seconds. 56 seconds. It's one of the shorter games that I've seen. Perhaps the fastest game ever. Well, that sucks. But it's also funny. You know, in a way, I kind of like it. I freaking hate Terran players so much. You know, they always get these free wins with these types of builds. And now finally we just get the Protoss. You know, he finds it instantly and boom, punishes this clown. Lovely to see. Man, I freaking love Classic. He's my new favorite player. At least in Protoss versus Terran, he's my favorite player from here on out. I'll be cheering for him all the way. That's going to be it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed this phenomenal series. If you did, don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Ciao, ciao.